The twin suns of Zephyria cast an eerie purple glow across the crystalline spires of New Alexandria as I made my way through the crowded streets. The air was thick with the scent of exotic spices and the low hum of hover vehicles, a cacophony of sights and sounds that still felt alien to me even after 3 years on this distant world. My name is Dr. Elara Venn, and I'm a quantum physicist from Earth, sent here to study the unique properties of Zephyrine crystals and their potential for revolutionizing faster-than-light communication. As I navigated the bustling marketplace, my mind wandered to the upcoming meeting with my research partner, Dr. Zax Krell. Zax was a brilliant Zephyrine scientist, his iridescent skin and 4 arms a constant reminder of how far from home I truly was. We had been working together for months, pushing the boundaries of what we thought possible with quantum entanglement. I arrived at our lab, a towering structure of twisting metal and pulsing light, and found Zax hunched over a workbench, his multiple eyes focused intently on a glowing crystal shard. "Elara!" he exclaimed, his voice a melodious trill that still sent shivers down my spine. "You won't believe what I've discovered." I approached, curiosity piqued. "What is it, Zax?" He held up the crystal, its facets shimmering with an inner light. "I've managed to entangle this crystal with its twin on Earth. We can now transmit data instantaneously across light years." My heart raced at the implications. This was the breakthrough we'd been working towards for years. "That's incredible, Zax. But how did you stabilize the quantum state over such a vast distance?" Zax's expression turned serious, his lower set of arms fidgeting nervously. "That's where things get complicated. The crystal doesn't just transmit data, Elara. It seems to be creating a bridge between our 2 worlds." Before I could ask what he meant, the crystal pulsed with blinding intensity. The lab around us shimmered and distorted, reality itself seeming to bend and warp. When my vision cleared, I found myself standing not in our lab on Zephyria, but in a familiar office at MIT. Panic gripped me as I spun around, taking in the impossible sight. "Zax, what's happening?" But Zax was nowhere to be seen. Instead, I found myself face to face with Dr. Marcus Holloway, my old mentor from Earth. He stared at me in shock, coffee mug slipping from his fingers to shatter on the floor. "Elara," he gasped. "How? You've been missing for years." I struggled to comprehend what was happening. Somehow the crystal had transported me across the galaxy in an instant. But as I tried to explain, I felt a tugging sensation, as if my very atoms were being pulled in 2 directions at once. The world blurred again, and I found myself back in the lab on Zephyria, Zax's concerned face swimming into view. "Elara, are you all right?" he asked, his 4 hands steadying me as I swayed on my feet. I clutched my head, trying to make sense of what had just happened. I was on Earth, in Dr. Holloway's office. It felt so real. Zax's eyes widened in alarm. "This is worse than I feared. The crystal isn't just bridging our worlds, it's entangling our very existence across space-time." As the implications of his words sank in, I felt a chill run down my spine. We had unknowingly opened a Pandora's box, and the consequences could be catastrophic for both our worlds. Over the next few days, the incidents continued. I would be working in the lab one moment, only to find myself suddenly transported to various locations on Earth the next. Sometimes I appeared in places I knew, like my old apartment or favorite coffee shop. Other times I materialized in unfamiliar locations, catching glimpses of a world that had moved on without me. Zax and I worked tirelessly to understand and control the phenomenon, but each experiment seemed to only deepen the mystery. We discovered that the entanglement wasn't limited to just me. Zax had experienced similar jumps, finding himself in various locations around Earth, much to the shock and confusion of the humans he encountered. As we delved deeper into the quantum mechanics at play, we began to uncover a startling truth. The entanglement was not just affecting our physical locations, but our very timelines. During one jump, I found myself face to face with a younger version of myself, still a graduate student at MIT. The encounter was brief, but it left me shaken, realizing the potential paradoxes we were creating. Zax theorized that the crystal was somehow tapping into the multiverse, allowing us to experience alternate realities and timelines. But with each jump, the boundaries between these realities seemed to blur further, threatening the very fabric of both our worlds. As we grappled with the enormity of our discovery, I couldn't help but feel a growing connection to Zax. Our shared experiences across time and space had forged a bond unlike anything I had ever known. His alien features, once so strange to me, now felt comfortingly familiar. I found myself looking forward to our time together in the lab, even as we faced the daunting task of unraveling the quantum mystery we had created. One evening, as we pored over data from our latest experiment, Zax's lower hand brushed against mine. The contact sent a jolt through me, not unlike the sensation of quantum jumping between worlds. Our eyes met, and in that moment, I saw a reflection of my own feelings in his multifaceted gaze. "Elara," he said softly, his voice a gentle hum. "I fear that in solving one mystery, we've created an even greater one." I knew he wasn't just talking about the crystal. The growing attraction between us was as undeniable as it was complicated. A human and a Zephyrian. Could there be any future for such a pairing? Before I could respond, the world around us began to shimmer. The familiar pull of a quantum jump took hold, but this time it felt different, stronger. As reality distorted around us, I instinctively reached out and grabbed Zax's hand. When the world solidified again, we found ourselves standing on a windswept cliff overlooking an alien ocean. The sky above was filled with swirling nebula and impossibly close stars, a view that belonged to neither Earth nor Zephyria. "Where are we?" I gasped, still clutching Zax's hand. He surveyed our surroundings with all four of his eyes, antennae twitching in concentration. "I don't think the question is where, Elara, but when. And in which reality?" As we explored this new world, we discovered signs of a civilization far more advanced than either of ours. Remnants of impossible technologies littered the landscape, machines that seemed to defy the laws of physics as we understood them. We spent what felt like days in this strange new world, all the while trying to understand how we had arrived here and how we might return. The constant shifts in reality had taken their toll, and I found myself relying on Zax more and more, drawing strength from his unwavering presence. It was during this time, isolated from both our worlds, that Zax and I finally confronted the feelings growing between us. Under an alien sky, we shared our first kiss, an experience that transcended the physical differences between our species and left me breathless. "I never imagined I could feel this way about someone not of my kind," Zax admitted, his bioluminescent skin pulsing with emotion. I caressed his face, marveling at the silky texture of his iridescent skin. "Maybe that's the real breakthrough we've made, Zax. Not just bridging worlds, but hearts." Our moment of bliss was short-lived, however. The ground beneath our feet began to tremble, and the sky above twisted in impossible ways. The very fabric of this reality seemed to be unraveling around us. "The entanglement," Zax said urgently. "It's growing unstable. If we don't find a way to control it, it could tear apart every reality we have touched." With renewed determination, we set to work, using the advanced technology we'd discovered to augment our own knowledge. We theorized that our emotional connection had somehow amplified the quantum entanglement, creating a feedback loop that was now threatening to collapse the multiverse. As we raced against time to find a solution, we jumped erratically through different realities. We witnessed versions of Earth where history had taken radically different turns, saw Zephyria in both utopian and dystopian futures, and even caught glimpses of worlds so alien they defied description. Through it all, Zax and I clung to each other, our improbable love the one constant in a sea of shifting realities. We worked tirelessly, combining our knowledge of quantum physics with the advanced science we encountered in our jumps. Finally, after what felt like an eternity of searching, we found our answer in the heart of a dying star. The intense gravitational field, combined with the star's unique quantum properties, provided the key to stabilizing the entanglement. With time running out and realities collapsing around us, we put our theory to the test. Using a fragment of the original crystal and the last of our borrowed technology, we created a quantum anchor. a device capable of harmonizing the entangled realities without destroying them. The process was dangerous, requiring one of us to serve as a living conductor for the quantum energies. Without hesitation, I volunteered. "No, Elara," Zax protested, his eyes filled with fear and love. "The risk is too great. Let me do it." But I stood firm. My human physiology might be better suited to withstand the strain, I argued. Besides, I'm the one who brought this technology from Earth. It's my responsibility to set things right. With great reluctance, Zax agreed. As he made the final preparations, we shared one last desperate kiss, a goodbye that held the promise of hope. I stepped into the center of our makeshift device, the quantum energies already beginning to swirl around me. I locked eyes with Zax one last time, trying to memorize every detail of his alien yet beloved face. "Whatever happens," I said, my voice thick with emotion, "know that loving you has made every moment worth it." Zax activated the device and my world exploded into light and sensation. I felt myself stretched across realities, my consciousness expanding to encompass countless versions of myself. For a timeless moment, I was everything and nothing, everywhere and nowhere. When I came back to myself, I was lying on the floor of our lab on Zephyria, Zax cradling me in his 4 arms. The air crackled with residual energy, but the oppressive sense of impending doom had lifted. "Did it work?" I croaked, my throat raw as if I'd been screaming. Zax helped me to my feet, his touch gentle. "See for yourself," he said, gesturing to the bank of monitors lining the lab wall. On the screens, I saw images from Earth, Zephyria, and countless other worlds we had visited. But now, instead of chaotic jumps and unstable realities, there was order. The quantum entanglement had been stabilized, creating a network of harmonious connections between realities without the risk of collapse. "We did it," I breathed, scarcely able to believe it. "We saved the multiverse." Zax pulled me close, his body trembling with relief and lingering fear. "When I saw you disappear into that energy field, I thought I'd lost you forever," he admitted. I leaned into his embrace, reveling in the solid reality of him. "You can't get rid of me that easily," I teased. "It seems we're quantumly entangled now, you and I." As the implications of our discovery sank in, we realized that we had not just saved reality, we had transformed it. The stable quantum network we had created opened up possibilities beyond our wildest dreams. Instantaneous communication and travel between worlds were now possible, heralding a new era of exploration and cooperation across the multiverse. In the days that followed, as news of our breakthrough spread, Zax and I found ourselves at the center of a scientific revolution. Researchers and leaders from countless worlds sought our expertise, eager to understand and expand upon what we had achieved. But amidst the whirlwind of attention and accolades, Zax and I found moments of quiet to explore our relationship. The barriers between us, physical, cultural, and cosmic, seemed insignificant in the face of what we had experienced together. One evening, as we stood on the balcony of our lab watching Zephyria's twin suns set, Zax took my hand in one of his. "Elara," he said, his voice carrying that musical quality I'd grown to love. "Our work has opened up infinite possibilities for the future of science and exploration, but I find myself most excited about the possibility of a future with you." My heart swelled with emotion. "Oh, Zax," I replied, "I feel the same way. When I'm with you, I'm home, no matter what reality we're in." As we sealed our declaration with a kiss, I marveled at the journey that had brought us to this point. From colleagues to friends, from separate species to soulmates, our bond had transcended the very laws of physics we sought to understand. The quantum entanglement of our hearts, it seemed, was the greatest discovery of all. In the years that followed, Zax and I continued our work, pushing the boundaries of quantum science and fostering cooperation between worlds. Our love story became something of a legend, the human and the Zephyrian who saved the multiverse and found each other in the process. There were challenges, of course. Interspecies relationships were still a novelty, and we faced our share of prejudice and misunderstanding. But for every closed-minded individual we encountered, there were countless others who saw our union as a symbol of hope and unity in a vast and varied cosmos. We split our time between Earth and Zephyria, using the quantum network we had created to bridge the vast distances between our homeworlds. On Earth, I introduced Zax to the simple pleasures of my childhood: the taste of ice cream, the feeling of grass between your toes, the sound of waves crashing on a beach. On Zephyria, Zax showed me wonders I had never imagined: bioluminescent forests that sang with light, floating cities that danced among the clouds, and ancient temples that held the secrets of his people's past. Our work continued to yield incredible breakthroughs. We developed quantum computers that could simulate entire universes, allowing us to predict and prevent cosmic-scale disasters. We created medical technologies that could heal at the subatomic level, curing diseases that had once been thought incurable. And perhaps most importantly, we established the Multiversal Council, a governing body made up of representatives from countless realities, dedicated to fostering peace and cooperation across all of existence. Through it all, our love only grew stronger. The unique challenges of our relationship, the biological differences, the cultural misunderstandings, the occasional accidental quantum jump to a parallel reality, only served to deepen our bond. We learned to communicate not just with words, but with the subtle language of touch, of shared experiences, of silent understanding that transcended species. As I stand here now, looking out over the glittering spires of New Alexandria, I can't help but marvel at the journey that brought me here. From a curious Earth scientist to a multiversal explorer, from a lonely human in an alien world to one half of a love that defies the very laws of nature. Zax joins me on the balcony, wrapping two of his arms around me while the other two manipulate a holographic display of our latest project. I lean into him, feeling the comforting thrum of his alien heartbeat. "What are you thinking about, my love?" he asks, his antennae brushing gently against my cheek in a gesture I've come to adore. I smile, watching as a group of human and Zephyrian children play together in the park below, their laughter carrying up to us on the warm breeze. "I'm thinking about how a simple research project led to all of this," I reply, gesturing to the harmonious scene before us, how one discovery changed everything. Zax makes a sound that I've learned is the Zephyrian equivalent of a chuckle. But you're forgetting the most important discovery of all," he says. I turn to face him, raising an eyebrow in question. His eyes, all four of them, crinkle with affection as he gazes at me. "Us, Elara. We discovered us." As I stand there in the arms of my alien love, watching the sun set on a world that was once so foreign to me, I know that he is right. In all the infinite realities, in all the countless possibilities, we found each other. And that truly is the greatest discovery of all. As night falls on Zephyria, the bioluminescent plants in the gardens below begin to glow, casting a soft, ethereal light across the city. Zax and I retreat inside our home, a curious blend of Earth and Zephyrian architecture that reflects our unique partnership. "We should prepare for the Multiversal Council meeting tomorrow," Zax says, his lower arms already pulling up holographic displays of agenda items and proposals. I nod, but my mind is elsewhere. "Zax," I begin hesitantly, "I've been thinking about something." He turns all four of his eyes to me, giving me his full attention. It's a gesture that still makes my heart skip a beat, even after all these years. "What is it, my love?" he asks, his voice a soothing trill. I take a deep breath. I think I'm ready to try for a child." Zax's eyes widen, and for a moment he's perfectly still, a rarity for the usually animated Zephyrian. Then, in a burst of movement, he sweeps me up in all four of his arms, spinning me around in joy. "Oh, Elara," he exclaims. "I've been hoping you'd say that, but I didn't want to pressure you. Are you sure?" I laugh, clinging to him as the room spins. "I'm sure it won't be easy. We'll be the first human Zephyrian couple to attempt this. But after everything we've been through, I think we can handle it." Zax sets me down gently, his iridescent skin pulsing with excitement. "We'll need to consult with geneticists from both our worlds," he says, already planning. "And we'll have to consider the quantum implications. Our child will be a bridge between realities in more ways than one." The thought is both thrilling and terrifying. A child with my human DNA and Zax's Zephyrian genes, born of two worlds and infinite possibilities. What would they look like? What abilities might they have? As if reading my thoughts, Zax cups my face in two of his hands. Whatever challenges we face, we'll face them together, he says softly. Our love has already rewritten the laws of physics. I'm sure it can handle a little thing like interspecies reproduction. I laugh, leaning into his touch. When you put it that way, how can I argue? We spend the rest of the evening discussing our plans, our excitement growing with each passing moment. We decide to announce our intention to the Multiversal Council, knowing that our child will be a symbol of unity for all realities. The next day, as we stand before the assembled representatives of countless worlds, I feel a mix of nervousness and pride. Zax squeezes my hand reassuringly as we step up to the podium. Esteemed members of the Multiversal Council, I begin, my voice carrying across the grand chamber. Dr. Zax Krell and I have an announcement to make. We intend to conceive a child, the first of its kind, born of human and Zephyrian parents. A murmur ripples through the assembly. I see a mix of reactions, surprise, excitement, and yes, some concern. But overwhelmingly, I sense support. The Arcturian representative, a being of pure energy, speaks up. This is joyous news. A child of two worlds will further strengthen the bonds between our realities. Others chime in with congratulations and offers of support. The Terran ambassador, an older woman with kind eyes, approaches us after the session. Dr. Venn, Dr. Krell, she says warmly, Earth's finest geneticists are at your disposal. We'll do everything in our power to ensure the health and safety of your child. As we leave the council chambers, I'm overwhelmed by the outpouring of support. Zax wraps an arm around my waist, pulling me close. See, he says, the multiverse is ready for this. We're ready for this. Over the next few months, our lives become a whirlwind of medical appointments, genetic counseling, and quantum theory discussions. The challenges are immense. Our physiologies are fundamentally different, and the quantum entanglement that binds us complicates matters further. But slowly, with the help of brilliant minds from across the multiverse, we make progress. Using a combination of advanced genetic engineering and quantum manipulation, our team of scientists creates an embryo that is truly a blend of both our species. The day of the implantation arrives, and a bundle of nerves. Zax holds my hand as the doctor, a Zephyrian with specialized training in human physiology, prepares for the procedure. Remember, the doctor says kindly, this is just the first step. We'll be monitoring you closely throughout the pregnancy. I nod, too emotional to speak. As the procedure begins, I feel a strange tingling sensation, not unlike the feeling of a quantum jump. For a moment I worry that we're about to be pulled into another reality, but then I realize it's something else entirely. It's the feeling of new life taking root within me. The months that follow are a roller coaster of emotions and physical changes. My body, adapting to carry a half-alien child, goes through transformations that baffle and amaze our medical team. There are difficult days when the quantum fluctuations cause unexpected side effects, and nights when I wake up glowing with Zephyrian bioluminescence. But through it all, Zax is my rock. He's there for every appointment, every mood swing, every strange craving. It turns out that Zephyrian spice crystals pair surprisingly well with chocolate ice cream. His excitement and love are a constant source of strength. As my due date approaches, the entire multiverse seems to hold its breath in anticipation. Our child has become a symbol of hope and unity, a living embodiment of the bridges we've built between worlds. Finally, the day arrives. The delivery is not easy. Our child, it seems, has inherited the best and most complicated traits of both species. But after hours of labor, assisted by the most advanced medical technology the multiverse has to offer, we hear it, the first cry of our baby. It's a girl, the doctor announces, placing the tiny bundle in my arms. I look down at our daughter, overwhelmed with love. She has my human eyes, but they shimmer with the iridescence of Zax people. A fine dusting of scales covers her skin, glowing softly in the dim light of the delivery room. And most remarkably, she has two perfectly formed arms, and two smaller secondary arms tucked against her sides. Zax leans in, tears streaming from all four of his eyes. She is perfect, he whispers. gently stroking our daughter's cheek with one finger. As I hold our miracle child, I'm struck by the magnitude of what we've accomplished. Not just the scientific feat of creating a human-Zephyrian hybrid, but the social and cultural barriers we've broken down in the process. Our daughter yawns, her tiny fingers curling around one of Zax's. In that moment, I see the future. A future where the lines between species and worlds continue to blur, where love and science push the boundaries of what's possible. What shall we name her? Zax asks softly. I smile, remembering a word from an ancient Earth language I'd studied long ago. Astra, I say. It means of the stars. Zax's antennae quiver with emotion. Astra, he repeats. Perfect for a child of two worlds, born under countless stars. As news of Astra's birth spreads, messages of congratulations pour in from across the multiverse. Leaders, scientists, and ordinary citizens alike celebrate this new chapter in multiversal relations. In the quiet of our hospital room, however, none of that matters. For now, our universe has shrunk to just the three of us: Zax, myself, and our beautiful daughter Astra. As I watch Zax cradle our child, his forearms forming a perfect protective circle around her, am filled with a sense of peace and rightness. Whatever challenges the future holds, whatever new frontiers we may face, I know we'll face them together, as a family, as pioneers, and as living proof that love truly can transcend all boundaries.